Welcome to another Motortown video. Today I'm here to tell you guys about the different asset packs that are being used by the game. And to start this off right, since it proved to be a bit of a touchy topic, I want to give you guys a bit of a preamble on how I approach this topic and what I think about asset packs as a whole. In my opinion, they are a very essential and very amazing resource for indie developers. Because when starting out, especially with a small team or just how Motortown did with only a single developer, having to build every single thing from scratch, like every single vehicle, every single town's building, all the characters and everything, that might mean that some projects don't even get started to begin with. And honestly, if Mr. Wang had to just do all of it on his own without any pre-bought assets, I don't know if Motortown would have happened. That would have likely taken years to get anywhere near what the game started out with in early access. So, yeah, huge props to asset packs in this regard. I think they enable people to do stuff that would otherwise be way too much of an ask. But to be clear, there are by now also a few modelers on the team. I think there are two of them, plus one person doing the world building, just making different stuff around the map happen. So it's been expanded significantly, but there are still quite a few things from those asset packs that I want to take a look at here. Partially because not only of the stuff that has been used, but also the things that the dev has access to by means of purchasing these things and having them already, but where he just decided to not use them. So there are a lot of props here from different packs that are already at the dev's disposal, but they are not really being utilized, and I think that's a bit of a shame. I know the team wants to move away from asset packs sooner or later and just especially replace all the vehicles, but honestly, I think a lot of those vehicles are just fine as they are, and it just takes a lot of effort just replacing the stuff. And yeah, I think they would be doing much better if they just took care of the poor vehicles, so the few ones that are of lower quality and look kind of out of place in a negative way. So yeah, take care of that, but maybe don't do everything because they're just gonna take a lot of resources, slow down development, and I don't really see the benefit of it apart from a few people when hearing about the asset packs or learning about them, they might not be a fan of the practice. So yeah, I think that's about everything that I want to say regarding asset packs. Although one thing, I heard it a few times that it's a bit deceitful that the dev doesn't disclose that a lot of stuff for Motortown came from different asset packs. I don't see the need for that. I mean, in the end, it doesn't really change the product itself. Whether one model comes from an in-house modeler or from an asset pack, it doesn't really do much about the whole game. The one thing it does change, though, is once again how it's gonna be done moving forward. And in case of Motortom, it's really the one issue I have here. Anyways, I think that's enough said about that. We are going to now take a look at the different asset packs. I tried to see if I could find everything. From what I know, there are two main sources for these. One is Cinti Studios, which we are going to take a look at first. They have a whole series on different asset packs in certain styles. For this one, for Motortown, a lot of polygon asset packs have been used, but that's basically an entire series with different themes. So right here we have a city pack, there's also a farm pack, town pack, military, whatever, cyberpunk. There's a lot of stuff, and Mr. Wang basically gone ahead and bought everything that could be relevant to Motortown. There's also a second provider of asset packs called AssetVille. We are going to take a look at that stuff a bit later down the line. I tried making everything or getting everything ordered from most relevant to least relevant, but it's a bit of hit and miss with some of the stuff. So let's just get into it. I will mainly focus on the screenshots, and for the most part, I want to see the selection of different characters, building parts, and vehicles. For the first one, since it is one of the most prevalent ones in the game, I will go through the screenshots real quick, but for the most part, we don't really have time to look at everything in detail. But yeah, we can already see a lot of the buildings that we can find in game, including the town hall and also a park, plus also a lot of vehicles that we should be quite familiar with. And yeah, there are just a lot of screenshots about different scenes, and here are some of the characters. So yeah, some officers right here, a few women, few men, and also a few color variations for each of the models. So there are multiple ways to style them, especially when it comes to like police uniforms. There are definitely a few options here. And also, of course, civilian clothes. That's one of the things that I wish were handled a bit differently. Right now, I think we have about 20 models to choose from when it comes to choosing our player character, or at least what it looks like, or he or she, whatever. And I think with all the asset packs, the Death's board, there would definitely be quite a few more viable options for this kind of thing. I mean, we shouldn't be walking around like police officers all the time, but yeah, there should be a few more other ones in here that could be used. Now we get to the vehicles. These are all the ones from this asset pack, and we can already see the Elisa in its three variants, so civilian, taxi, and police. Plus the Mitage, which is, well, I mean, you can see it pretty clearly right here. It's an SUV, which in the game, I don't think I've really ever used it, but it's there. It's also, I think, one of the better models. We of course have our starter car, the Stinger, the Ambi, which is just a different version of the Vanny right here, and also the Ford Fiesta looking thing, the Stella. And in my opinion, a few of these vehicles are quite nice, but especially the Elisa, just seeing it in game, it's not the most amazing looking one. I think when it comes to replacing vehicles or giving them a visual update, yeah, the Elisa in all its variants should definitely be on the list and pretty high as that. Of course, some vehicles will just be scaled down sooner or later just to make them work a bit better with stuff as it is right now before eventually replacing them. Like the Stinger, that's just a huge boat compared to other vehicles. But yeah, I think overall, yeah, the Elisa is a bit poorly. The Stella is not amazing looking, and same for the Stinger. I think the Vanny and Ambulance is okay, and same for the Mitage. I think that's really one of the better looking vehicles here. Again, a few more color variations on them. Nothing really too crazy. And here are a lot of the different assets. Like we have some models that we can pop onto the storefront just above the signage and everything to make clear what kind of business it is. A lot of different letters and all of that. And also some interior and other similar things or just for outside the store. I don't know if the game actually still uses stuff like this, the whole I don't know, like plate design for the roads and everything. For the most part, at least outside the towns, they are definitely using splines to make everything a bit smoother and everything like that. But yeah, this is apparently also something they can do. And here we have a lot of different building stuff. There are a few things that are pre-assembled completely, but also a lot of things that are kind of modular, so you can really use it to build what you want. I don't know if anything here has any interiors, and that seems to be the last one of the pictures. But some of those might be from another similar asset pack. Anyways, let's move on to the next one, the town pack. So this is a bit more rural, and yeah, it also includes a few other familiar vehicles and models, and I think also a lot of the buildings have been used here and there. I don't want to go through everything in detail because again this is likely going to be a very long a very long video as it is already. God dang it, words really don't come out easy today. But yeah, here are the vehicles as we can find them in game. Let's go through the different color variations. So we know the Spider here, one of the sports cars. As far as the model quality is concerned, that's really not one of my favorites. I think it looks a bit off, and I would be looking forward to seeing what the desk can do with it. Then we also have the Hana. Used to be called a pickup truck or something. It got scaled down a bit to fit the game a bit better, but as it is right now, I wouldn't mind just leaving it alone as it is. I don't think that ever needs a replacement. The fire truck is also in the game, but only as a static prop. I know for a fact that it is placed around Anson Speedway near the exit of the pit lane. I don't know if it's anywhere else as well, but right now, as far as I'm aware, there's no real way to use it. I'm pretty sure it's also on the Trello to make it usable at some point. Would be nice, but right now this is all that we can get from it. We also have, of course, the school bus, something that I've recently gotten to like a lot more after somebody taught me of its benefits. And yeah, a different kind of version of a Matey than what we have in-game. I'm pretty sure the Matey in-game has a border around the cargo bed. This one right now is just a flatbed on the back. So that's, I mean, for the most part it is the Matey, but I think some things have been done about it in-game to possibly work a bit better. Of course, our Compacty, the trash truck, and a different version of the Tronco than what we are using in-game. I will be showing you guys the exact one in a few minutes here. There's a different asset pack that actually has that. But the one in-game has a different front design than this one here. Also, the city bus is in here as well. And yeah, a few more characters. I think some of those might look familiar. I'm usually using this guy here for my different characters. And also a few more color variations. Would be nice to have a few of those available as well. And modular things for to build different houses and such. And just a whole lot of other things here. And a few pre-built houses as well. I definitely remember the church, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of these shops have also been used around the place. Plus also some stuff from these for different houses around the areas, which is pretty alright. And yeah, a few more other things, but that's about it for this one. Let's move on to the next one. I don't like to be rushing through these, but again, there's just so much stuff in here. Let's start by looking at this screenshot right here, and this might pretty much look like a huge chunk of Gappa. I mean, of course, they are going to still use them, and again, I'm quite happy about it. I especially remember this gateway right here, the gantry. For some reason, it scaled up quite a lot for one of the farms on Gappa, and I think that looks a bit weird, but overall, I mean, I think this is a really nice set of models right here. Also, we can already see the cage trailer right here and the tanker trailer, the 5-ton one. Plus also a lot of things that are just scattered around the different places here. And yeah, also the glass houses here for growing crops. Those are also in Gangyang in the more western area, I think. And yeah, another nice overview shot. Let's get into the vehicles. So a lot of these are just scattered around as static props. I don't know if we even see the tractor anywhere. I think we do. this one is available both for purchase, but also a few versions of it are just placed at the different farms as static vehicles, just to have a bit of decoration. I think the Combine might also be somewhere. I'm not entirely sure about that one. I've definitely seen a lot of these trailers around the place. But yeah, the two ones that are actually being used here in terms of trailers are the ones on the left. Unless they really go heavy with farming and all of that and allowing you to become a farmhand, I don't see us being able to use these vehicles. Maybe they could be available for certain delivery jobs. So we'll just load them on at the harbor and bring them over to wherever they are needed or something. But besides that, that's pretty much it for the stuff that we actively use. Plus also a few more characters. I'm not entirely sure if any of them are available. I think I've seen one or two people using this one here. Don't know how that's available right now, but I think that might be from one of the Halloween events. A lot of different crops and crates as well. The crates again being more interesting because we can actually transport them. Different models, and also of course the windmill from the wind farm on the west end of Jeju Island. But also just another few things that are being used around the place. And a lot more decoration models. Plus also a few things for roads and such. Again, I don't know how they are using the roads, how that's all working right now. I think some of it might still be the old style, and I mean, there's really nothing wrong with it. And so much for this one. Let's move over to the construction pack. So construction sites are all over the different islands, but overall they are a more restricted theme with where they are being used. But there's actually quite a lot of things here, and I think this will be the first one where I really have a few things to say about stuff that they could have used but chose not to. So we have a few different sceneries right here. I'll just be skipping through a lot of these real quick, because once again there's just so much else to do here. Short look at the different characters, but now we get to the vehicles. So we already know the Dumpy, the Mixie, but there are also a few other variations, like the one with the detachable skip on the end. Also a different version of dumping trailer, which would be kind of interesting to have. I think we have at least this one in game, but I think also maybe this one as well, but they are only available as animated props, so we cannot use them as vehicles, but they are standing around at different construction sites, moving back and forth. It might just be the crane instead of the excavator here, or excavator, I mean. But yeah, these are not drivable in any means. Again, it would be kind of nice if we could use them for as transportation cargo, maybe for the Lomax. Maybe something like that could be coming in the future, but with how the devs have been wanting to go away from asset packs, it might not ever happen. Anyways, another thing that I want to quickly point out is right in the center here, this crane. I've seen it on the Trello, and I've seen some work to it done quite a while ago, but I hope it gets finished sooner than later. This would be really amazing. At this point, I would expect the devs to maybe make their own version and not use the one provided by the asset pack. I mean, they have every right to use it, but I think maybe if they make their own one, it might be even larger than this could be. I don't know. Yeah, also a trailer that we never got to use in the game. I think this might also have a winch on the front, or are these just spare tires? I don't know what this is really supposed to be. I mean, it's looking more like a spare axle or spare tires, whatever. Maybe it's a landing gear? No idea. And another vehicle trailer that we don't get to use, but the one thing that I would really like from this is this truck right here. This is looking pretty nice, especially if you could maybe take off the back. If you had a vehicle where I could actually choose between it being like a closed cargo compartment vehicle and an open one, that would be kind of interesting to have. But yeah, they chose not to use this one, quite sadly. Few more things about here, just decoration of different types. And also different building stuff for the construction sites themselves. And that's it for this one. Let's go to the next one. Street Racer. This is basically the harbor pack. With a few nice vehicles that I wish we had, but yeah, this is another one where I can point out and say there's some cool stuff in here that the devs could theoretically use, but sadly it shows against doing so. So let's skip through a lot of these. There are a lot of stuff here, a lot of things that I would like to look at in more detail, but in the end the most important stuff is about the different vehicles themselves. I will give you this overlook over the entire harbor though for a moment, because this is actually this is an inbuilt racetrack, and this is actually the old layout that was used before they updated the entire harbor area. We still have different stuff in here from that original version, like the dry dock, just going over the bridge here, and I think this corner is also pretty similar. But for the most part, it's a different area now. It's a bit more unique. Also, some stuff over here, like the different buildings for repairing your cars, upgrading them, plus a few vehicles on the parking lots, and also, of course, the different cargo ships are being used. A few more pictures of the different vehicles and different scenarios here. But yeah, now we get to the characters, and also more importantly to me, the different vehicles. This is the Vista, obviously, and yeah, the upgrades are actually pre-made, and yeah, we can also see all the different upgrade options right here. This is a new Lambo looking vehicle that we don't have in the game, quite sadly. And honestly, from what I see here, even without the upgrades, I would take this over the Rattan every day. This one is looking much nicer in my opinion, and especially with all the upgrades available. I mean, I don't need anything like the glowing wheels and all of that, but yeah, the rest of it, this is pretty cool. Like different front bumpers, different bonnets, even a different suspension setup for when it's getting raced or something. I think that's what this one is for. Different spoilers and everything. This would be a really nice one to have in my opinion. I think one of the major things about the Polygon series is that the vehicles often have these weird looking front lights and also rear lights where it's not really any detail, there's no depth to them. They're basically just a texture, and that's looking a bit cheap, but other than that, this one would be a nice one to have. Next one is something that I also asked for quite a while ago, because you can actually see it in-game. Some of these are being used as just static props, so decoration for the harbor, especially these three right here. I don't think we have this one in-game. But yeah, this is all based on the same vehicle with just different tuning parts, like the long nose for the front and the high spoiler on the back, giving it the whole Superbird style look. But also a lot of different other options like soft top, hard top, open, and all the other stuff. I mean, this is amazing, and I think overall this model looks good enough to have it in game, in my opinion. I think they could just have it in there and not bother with a replacement anytime soon. It's looking pretty nice from what I can see here, from what I've seen in the game. So yeah, I would love to have these in game. Here we can see the Vista, and yeah, this pretty much has all the upgrades. apart from once again the glowing rims, but the rest of even this one here is in-game. Same with the rest of the stuff, and yeah, I absolutely love it. Apart from once again the different undercarriage for the raced vehicles, which is done by raising the vehicle with suspension upgrades. But most if not everything here is actually in game, which is nice. Overall, when it comes to this car, I think I quite like it. Once again, especially with the front lights and back lights, it's looking a bit cheap at points, and maybe some of them. I mean, I would have to take another look at that because I haven't done anything with the Vista in quite a while. I think some of the stuff is also a bit rough around the edges, but overall, it's not a bad vehicle to have. I think maybe especially the default body style is pretty nice, but the rest might be a bit rough around the edges. I'm not entirely sure anymore. And it's sometimes a bit hard to tell by just looking at the screenshots. Next one is what we call the Voltex in-game. Voltex or yeah, I think Voltex. I'm not entirely sure about it. I have it. It's a nice one, but knowing what kind of upgrades it could theoretically have, this is kind of disappointing because we only get the base model, which is basically this one, I think, without some of the antennas, definitely without the light on top, and not with the livery right here. It's really just the most basic version, and the dev has access to all of these in addition to that. So it's a bit disappointing in my opinion that we cannot use it for anything. This would be a really nice and highly customizable vehicle if the stuff from the asset pack was actually added to it. And honestly, at least the default version, again, I don't know about all the other upgrade options. I would need to take a closer look at some of those. The default look of it is definitely good enough to keep in the game. I don't think it needs any replacement. Maybe slightly resizing, but I think it's also pretty good on that end. But yeah, also the upgrades just look pretty amazing right here. So yeah, a lot of potential here if the devs were just to include this stuff. Next up we have the Stella again. We've already seen it in a primer pack, but this one actually has a lot of upgrades for that. And a lot of them actually are in the game, apart from these very odd looking rims. But yeah, I think most of the other stuff, I'm not entirely sure about the roof scoop right here, and definitely not the light on top. But a lot of the rest of the things are definitely in-game, so that's pretty nice. Motorcycles, I don't know if they have done much with that. I think the one motorcycle that we can actually drive has been an in-house build model. I'm not entirely sure about the Scooty, but these ones, yeah, I mean, overall, I think there's really just one motorcycle that has a lot of different stylings, making it look quite different in all of these versions here. Would be nice to have, but yeah, we sadly don't have it. And this is another pet peeve of mine because not only is I think, oh no, this version visible at the harbor basically being quite the teaser. It would also have a lot of customization and also would have its own police variation. And honestly, from what I've seen in-game and looking at this stuff, I think this is a much better looking version than the police vehicle that we got. So I would rather have this one instead of one of the other ones that we are going to take a look at in a moment. I think it's simply called police and there is no civilian version of that, so that's the one that I mean here. And honestly, just getting another sedan would be pretty nice, especially for taxi work and stuff like that. And just all the options here, I mean, amazing. Now we get to a vehicle that is partially in-game, and that is the SRT right here, but without any of the upgrade versions. I mean, I don't know what this nuclear reactor kind of thing is looking like. It just looks like it might blow up at some point. But yeah, there could be quite a lot of things that you can do with this truck, and since it's really not good for any heavy-duty semi-trucking, just turning it into a race truck would be nice. Also, it has a whole police module in the back. I don't know what this would be used for. It's certainly not a prisoner transportation or something like that, but could be some additional gear or something. I don't know. But yeah, some of these things can be found at the harbor, especially this one, I think, in a different color scheme, and this one to one, as it is right here. But with all the additional options, it would be nice to just have them. I think there's quite a lot of things that could be done with them. Also, a few additions to the roof here to add a bit of an aero pack if you are towing a higher vehicle in the back. I mean, not towing, if you are pulling like a higher semi-trailer in the back. Also, this one here, which is a single axle trailer, which I think could be used for maybe some containers or something. I mean, the container trucks that we have right now, the trailers are working pretty well, so I don't know if that would be any use. I can see it being a bit of a problem with it tipping over. But yeah, apart from that, I don't know if this is even an upgrade or just a different vehicle that you can attach to this one. Getting weird vibes from that. Apart from that one, there are so many things in here that would be so nice to have, but apparently we are never getting those. Maybe at some point the devs will make their own things, and this is something that I also want to point out. None of the stuff that I'm saying here is to mean that what has been provided by the devs or by the asset packs cannot be replicated by the devs. I think they could do a better job than what we can see right here with most, if not every single thing. But that would also mean spending a lot of time in order to get that done. And if something nice looking is in the asset packs already, and since they have bought those packs to begin with, why not use it? That's really the thing. So yeah, I don't want to downplay how amazing of a work the modelers are doing, but it definitely feels like they could be using the time that they spent on working for the game better by just making new and amazing stuff, and the rest being filled out by things that they already have access to in form of the asset pack side here. A lot of different rim variations. I'm not entirely sure how many of those are in the game. I think some of them definitely are, but a lot of them I see here that I don't recognize. I mean, I don't want a hover car, I don't want these weird tilted wheels, if they even still work as wheels, but the more standard stuff would be pretty nice to have. Also, different steering wheels, which would also be a nice upgrade for people driving in first person. And here are a lot of the different other props around. This entire packet's a really beefy one. There's a lot of bars for the front of the vehicle, something to put on top. I don't know if for which one this is. And also sport seats, which are quite nice. Superchargers, different engine models, which are pretty cool, and roof box, different pedals. I mean, there could be a lot of things done with these. I don't know if the game really needs to go in depth with all of these, but some of these would be pretty nice. And yeah, a few more things like different checkpoints. I think this is in the lighting shops in game. And yeah, there's a lot more signs and everything. I mean, this is a really beefy pack. And here are also some of the buildings that we can also find around different areas, not only at the harbor, but also other industries and the likes. And yeah, there's a lot of containers and everything. I mean, these are pretty much outdated right now. The fun thing is, I took a closer look recently and I found that not only do they have I think it's American style with the 40-foot containers, 30, 30-foot containers and 10-foot containers. Right now the game has switched to 20 and 40 foot. I can see some of these dotted around the place, so I know exactly what's going on there with all of that. But yeah, some of the old ones are definitely still present, so I hope sooner or later that gets cleared up. Although that's really just an optical thing and shouldn't be high priority by any means. Here we can see some of the barges. They are also modular, so you can have just the base of it or the empty thing on top, or just fill it up. Pretty nice, different other trailers here for the boats. So I think the boats are also designed and everything is designed to work together. I think I've seen this on the harbor as well at some point. But yeah, nothing that we can use ourselves. Again, a few more props right here. I think these are the 20-foot containers. Compared to a 30-foot container next to it, you can see that this is about 2/3 of the length. So that checks out. But yeah, so much about this one. I think we kind of need to hurry up a bit. And that's going to be easy with the next ones because these don't really provide too much for the game. This is the, it's the Gang Warfare Pack, and it provides us with a toy factory. For the sake of the entire, for the sake of the asset pack, the toy factory is basically a front for illicit goods smuggling inside the toys. In game, since of course it's not a crime simulator, that's a lot more played straight with it being more of a genuine toy factory. And here is where we get a few more vehicles from. We're gonna see in a moment. Yeah, a lot of this stuff doesn't really matter too much. Some of it still pretty good, like getting the different segments for this building. But yeah, one of the main things that we got from this is the servos, and this one, it's the first vehicle that I bought in the game with my new playthrough. I absolutely love it, and this is where it came from. Still, to be honest, it's not amazing looking, all things considered, so this is another one that I could see being replaced sooner or later. It's definitely a bit bland, but this is also where we actually get the model of the Tronco that we use in-game. So this is a bit different on the front for the most part, but yeah, this is the exact one that we have in-game. So yeah, that's what I've been waiting for and why I haven't been shouting this out with one of the prior packs. I think the van might be identical to the one that we had beforehand on the other pack. I'm not entirely sure. If there is a difference, since I didn't notice it, I can also not tell which one we are using in-game. Also forklift, which would be a whole other thing that we could get into. That's the option of maybe one day loading the stuff onto the vehicles ourselves. Could be nice, could be annoying, should be an option in my opinion, ideally. Also a few more character models, but that's about it for this one. Next one, the Heist pack, and this is where we got our bank from, so this is the place where we can take a loan in-game. And it also gave us one of the police vehicles, and in my opinion, this one is looking a bit odd. We'll maybe see it a bit more in the next few screenshots once we get to the vehicles. A lot of characters with masks here, but also just a lot of new models right here. Hard to tell what they are really looking like with all of this stuff going on. But yeah, here are the vehicles. That's the police helicopter, police riot truck, which would be kind of interesting to use. I don't know if we could maybe slightly rework it to either work as an armored transport vehicle for maybe getting huge amounts of money to and from the bank, or just for prisoner transport. But we also have the police vehicle here, which this one is the color scheme that we actually see in game. And I don't know, on this screenshot it doesn't really seem that much of an issue, but to me it's just way too rectangular. It's just really weird, and I don't know, one of my less favorite vehicles in the game. So this is one that I would like to see replaced, and I think the one from the Harbor pack would be a good one to start with. I think that looks much better than this one here. But I think, what is this, the Challenger? I always mix the two up. I mean, it's kind of an ironic vehicle, or an iconic vehicle, not ironic. But I think if something like this was to be in the game, it should have a nicer model. I think that one deserves a bit better. Also, weapons again, because not everything here is child friendly. Despite the game going that way, the asset packs might have different options for other games as well, obviously. Since nothing here is purpose-built just for Motortown. And yeah, we can also see a few more models of different characters here. Once again, some of these would be pretty nice for our characters as well. A few more different items, and also a lot of the stuff here is modular, so we could build different things here, but I think the bank in-game is pretty much the same as it is presented right here, including the vault door that's just being left open and halfway cleared out. Next one is the military pack. And for this one, I think I really only need to show you guys one screenshot. And that's this one. It's not a one-to-one, but for the most part, this is the military base as we have it in-game, at least in the most broad strokes. The middle area has been cleared out a bit, but we still have tanks here, we still have a lot of these water reservoirs, I think, or whatever they are. And a lot of the other stuff of the general layout is still the same. Some things have been moved around, but in the end, for the most part, yeah, at least very similar. And another thing that I want to talk about at some point, just the prices of some of these things. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Mr. Wang said at some point that he got this one at least on a discount. I would certainly hope so, especially for how little it is used in game. So, especially because of discounts and regional price differences, I don't think it makes much sense to really tally up the price of all the packs right here. It's likely very different from what he paid, but yeah, there's definitely a significant investment in these. So yeah, just wanted to clarify, but I don't really linger on the price for any of these, but this one in particular I thought would be worth a shout out. And yeah, there's a lot of other stuff like the plane here that we can see in the game. Yeah, I think these things are in game at least, or maybe it is this one right here. I don't know, I'm not entirely sure. They are just static models, of course. Static models, not modules. Also, some of these Unimog looking transporters are also placed around the map, or around the base, I mean, and stuff like that. In the end, obviously, this is not for use. We could maybe at some point have some transport jobs for these, like bringing maybe this one here to another place or something like that. I'm kind of hoping we get another military base on Odli. I think it would be nice having maybe another set of military crates from that place, but also just yeah, some transport jobs between the two bases. A lot of items in here. Again, of course, a huge arsenal of different weapons that we are never going to see in game. I mean, wouldn't make much sense. At some point, I was kind of jokingly advocating for at least the police getting a firearm just to shoot at people they want to ban from a server. So basically, give the police officers moderating privileges, and anybody joining the server is basically, yeah, it's like Minecraft hardcore, but the only way to die is if you get shot at by somebody. Silly and weird idea, and nothing to be taken seriously, to be quite clear about it. And yeah, I don't think it's worth really going through the rest of it. I would be surprised if anything else here is of significance for the game. Next one is the shops pack, and I think that's where a lot of smaller shops come from, maybe also a bit of different cargo stuff, but also a lot of the signage, and especially our huge furniture store. Right here it's more of a mall with different things. I mean, the cafe is still in there, but apart from that, the supermarket is, I think, where you can get your sofa. The shop on top is where you can get a bed, if I recall correctly. It might be the other way around, I'm not entirely sure. But this is more of a variety style of store. But yeah, the overall layout inside is clear that this is the same that has been used for the furniture store. Just with a whole different setup of different stores in there. Burger joint, a few other things. I mean, we have burger joints in games, so this is, I think, also the same model for that. And yeah, pizza place, some arcade, another supermarket, which we also have a few of in game. I don't know if we have any store like this one though, but this one looks a bit more familiar. Salon, different other stuff here. I don't know if there's anything more significant to look at. But yeah, in the future, if we ever get like an outfit option, there would definitely be a few things they could do to make an outfit or just a clothing store. And this is likely also where we got our mall center from. And yeah, just a whole slew of items. Some of these can also be bought at the store, like I think this printer right here, this PC, some of the boxes and all of that. Other things are just scattered around the place as decoration, but not really purchasable right now, which is a bit of an odd choice, but I hope that gets rectified in the future. Few more other things right here, but I think for the most part, yeah, that might be most of the things here that are of importance. I think we can buy all of these three different speakers right here. Not the big amplifier for the electric guitar or anything. And yeah, I think that's about it for this one. So let's move on to the next one, which is the office pack. This is one that I at first wasn't even sure if it had anything for the game, but just looking at some of these divider walls, those are definitely in the furniture store. And I think for this one we should just skip to the props in here. So I think we have some of these sofas and benches and chairs and all of that. But yeah, there's just so much more variety, especially for things that we could use for our own properties to decorate with, that we just don't have any access to right now. I just noticed that there is a pre-made 3-screen setup right here. And a 2-screen setup, so not buying individual screens anymore, but just getting these combined. Nice. Would be nice to see those in game, but as of yet, that's I don't know if it's even up in the air at this point, but we certainly don't have it. I was looking for maybe a specific desk here, but I couldn't find it. I definitely saw this one in the furniture store and a whole lot of other items, so yeah, I'm pretty sure at this point that this was also included, but just more to a minor effect than anything major. Next up, the horror mansion. I don't think it's important to really look at everything here in detail, but maybe get a good shot of the mansion overall. Because this is in-game pretty much one-to-one. I think that was just purchased as a bit of a Halloween gimmick. The mansion in-game doesn't have the hedge mazes up front, but the rest of it seems pretty similar. I want to see the entrance hall. Ah, there it was. I'm pretty sure that's entirely how it's in-game as well. And again, not necessarily a cheap thing for what has been done with it, because this is one they could cut and nothing would really change. I mean, taking it away now that it is in-game would be noticeable, but the game wouldn't be much worse off if it was never added to begin with. Maybe there are a few minor things that are used in different places as well, but I'm not entirely sure about it. I definitely saw the cat statues in a shop, so we can actually have those for ourselves if we want to. But everything besides here, not entirely sure. Okay, let's move on to the Western Pack. You may be wondering why Western Pack, and I will tell you, I'm pretty sure this has been used for Santa's cabin up in the snowy mountains. I mean, the saloon certainly looks the part, and also maybe the Undertaker or Sheriff. Some of these, look like they have been used in game. Also, I think the train station as well, without any trains, because that doesn't really fit onto the mountain. But yeah, that's also another pack that I think got bought, and I mean, some of this might be useful for OG now that we have a more deserty area. Certainly would expect a few more modern buildings than these, but maybe an abandoned town or something could be created from these as well. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that the devs bought this pack and used it for the center area. Last one is where we can find the Return. This is the prototype pack. I think this used to be free at some point. And honestly, the Return is one of those vehicles that I don't really care too much about. I mean, Lamborghini is nice and all, but this one, it's not a nice looking model in my opinion. From the headlights to the taillights, but also just the overall shape is a bit too undefined. So I would rather have the other vehicle, but I'm also looking forward to seeing what an in-house replacement for this one could be looking like. Could be quite fancy. Hopefully with a bit of, or at least a bit of customization. Because right now the only thing we can do to this one is, of course, suspension, engine stuff and all of that. Give it different rims, maybe a few light fixtures which would likely look out of place on this one. And finally also a bit of decal work, which can actually improve the look by quite a bit. But yeah, this is all of the asset pack stuff from the Cinti store. So yeah, so much about these. We are going to take a look at the few from AssetVille in a moment. Don't worry, there's only 3 of them. We are almost done here, thankfully. But about the AssetVille, I think I need to mention how they kind of relate to each other. I think when it comes to the Polygon series by Cinti, it's overall a pretty nice looking pack or a series of packs for the low poly style, but there are a few, especially a lot of the vehicles for civil usage are a bit poorly designed in my opinion. When it comes to the more industrial stuff, I think that's looking pretty nice. The buildings are also looking pretty nice as well. And also the character models just work quite nicely for what the game does in my opinion. AssetVille has a more detailed style, which also works quite well, and I think those vehicles would especially be pretty good to have in the long run. The character models are completely different. Let's just take a look at the first screenshot here. I think for how the game plays and everything, I like the Cinti style characters a bit more. But these ones would also be working pretty well. But in the long run, I think the simpler ones from Cinti would also be easier to expand on, especially with how many different models there are in the game already, or with how many the devs at least have access to. But when it comes to the different vehicles here, some of these would be really nice to have. The thing about the AssetVille stuff, though, is that it looks a lot more stylized to be Northern America. That can be seen in both the vehicles, but also the buildings and everything. So I get why they wouldn't necessarily put both of these right next to each other, apart from the vehicles, because they kind of fit. Buildings, I think, a bit less so. But yeah, this is the town. What was it? Town 1 asset pack, and especially a few of the semi-trucks are things that they are going to recognize from here. And also, of course, our good old tow truck, the Pulio. But yeah, I think the most important thing here is going to be the collage of the different vehicles. That's definitely what's gonna give me the most things to talk about here. So first up, vehicles that we already know. Once again, the FL1 semi-truck here, the Pulio Wrecker, which is again the tow truck, and also the old drive-in trailer. I think that's everything from this pack that has been taken in, but just look at the slew of other vehicles that could have been used. And I think it's a bit of a shame that they don't. So from what I know right now, there is one major problem with vehicles from this asset pack and from AssetVille in general, and that is that the team has decided to add a functional bonnet and doors to the different vehicles. If they're ever gonna use it on every single vehicle is a different thing, but they would rather outfit everything with that stuff to begin with, instead of at some point, if they wanna go down that route, having to add that to all the vehicles and do a lot more work with how many they have at that point. And for the most part, at least, AssetVille vehicles don't have that stuff. They're all basically wheels and just a single body, and that's about it. So that's why, that's one reason why they kind of want to stay away from that, because that would be additional work. But I think for at least some of these vehicles, it would definitely be worth it, like the Corvette. I mean, that thing is just amazing looking. I don't know if it has the pop-up headlights. It doesn't really look like that. I would hope so, but this is definitely something that I would like to see, and also maybe a few of the other vehicles, just having another van as an option. Doesn't need to be much different than the one from Cinti, but just having another option for that would be nice. Bit of variety. The one thing that I will say, though, while I could see about every single vehicle here being added to the game and working out quite well, if all of them were to be added, I think I would lean too much into the American style of things. So that's a bit of a problem right now. In game right now, it's more like it's all over the place. There are some Asian vehicles. I mean, there's a Hyundai, there's the Skyline looking thing, stuff like that. There's also quite a few American ones, a few European ones, like the BMWs, that kind of thing. But if all of this were to be added at one point, it would really lean into it looking more American than maybe it should for being set in South Korea. Oops. But yeah, it would be nice to at least see some of these, because these are really nice looking for the most part. Not entirely sure about the police car. That's a bit too boxy for my liking, but Yeah, I mean, there are a few American cars that have been designed like that. Here are some of the characters, some of the guns, because of course it has guns as an option. But that's about it. Oh, and yeah, the warehouse here, that's also looking pretty familiar with the J&J. I'm not entirely sure if the same model was used, but at least the writing here has been taken over. I mean, let's have a bit more variety, I can absolutely understand that. Is there maybe a full alphabet for this kind of lettering? It would actually be pretty nice. I know there must be some of it at some point, but doesn't seem like it's in this one here. I know that the furniture store has the full alphabet in game, so that must come from somewhere, but maybe that's also been added by their team. And yeah, this is now the AssetVille Town 2 modular county. So this is just a whole lot more vehicles and also town assets. And they definitely also have this because just by looking at the parking lot scenario here, I already recognize the police car down here, which is the Interceptor in-game. The bus in the back is definitely the Cheetah MK1. We have the old tanker trailer there. I think we might have also used this one for the boxy. And also the semi-truck in the middle here is the Titan in-game. Plus also two more semi-trucks which we sadly cannot use, and my god, would I love to see these in-game. I mean, this one looks a bit... yeah, it's really doing the over-cap thing and just overdoing it. But I think this would also be nice additions as it is right now. They seem to all be double rear axles, so likely all 6x4 setup. But there are also a few other nice ones right here, like the Camaro. Is this Firebird? I don't know. I think this is the Camaro as well. Don't know what this one is, but also a lot of other things like this van here looking like from the A-Team, the Campy, and just so many more things that could be nice for the game as well. But once again, if all of it was to be added, it would really lean way too far into just American style stuff. Also, Tony here just noticed. This is of course also the one that we have in game. So yeah, quite a few nice things. And I would just love to see more of it being added over time at least. I mean, this is definitely a good looking semi-truck. There's really no two ways about it. Some of these, however, I mean, yeah, it's a body style that I recognize, but this looks a bit too boxy. So the AssetVille vehicles are also not perfect. Also, the crane right here is also used in-game, at least at the overseas import company. But some of these would be really nice. And I think we also used this trailer, at least as a prop at the sawmill. Was quite confused about it recently, because it already looks a bit better than what we have for log transportation, just what we can use right now. But I think all of it is gonna change with the next update anyways, so looking forward to that. And I think when it comes to the different logging trailers, I expect the one from the in-house team to just blow it out of the water compared to either of the versions from the different asset packs. But yeah, that's pretty much all of that. So time to go to the last one. And this one should also be quite quick because this is just a modular hospital. And it is the exact same model as we have in-game right now. But it seems like this would be not only usable with an interior, which the version in-game doesn't have because there's no reason for us to go in there right now. But as it is being advertised as modular, there should also be options to just create a whole other one from the same type of props, make it look way different, but not put in the entire work to design another one from scratch. And that would be nice to have something somewhere around OG at least. There's a lot of interior shots, and here are the different props. There's a lot of walls, windows, and yeah, one hell of a lot of interior. But yeah, as it is right now, this is how we can find it in game in Southeast Jeju City, and yeah, I mean, works pretty well there. One of the few AssetVille items there, but it works out quite well. I know that the Polygon City Pack, and let's close this off. Let's take a quick look at that. There's also a hospital in here, but this is really not looking like anything. So I'm glad that the devs have went for this. I'm not entirely sure if you can even see. Let's just go to the marketplace. Okay, this is $50. So also decently pricey, but you get a lot of stuff for that. Anyways, this is not about evaluating all the stuff in the different asset packs. I just wanted to show you guys what a lot of different things from Motortown come from. Initially, I also considered maybe going through all the in-house made vehicles and that kind of stuff, but that would have taken way too long. The video is already over 1 hour long and my voice is giving out, so that might be another thing for the future, but rest assured that the team isn't sleeping on making stuff themselves. There are a lot of vehicles that have been made just for the game, and I don't even know if I can show them all off because I'm not entirely sure if there's any way to filter them out. Otherwise, I might miss some things or allocate some stuff. It's kind of tough figuring out that list. But anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts on the entire topic here on the asset packs. But yeah, that's gonna be it from my side. Have a good one. Thanks for watching and see you guys next time. Bye bye.